Megan just hops in the shower after waking up, but when she steps out, she discovers her husband and children have completely vanished. Thinking her family is just playing a game of hide and seek, Megan happily starts searching every corner of the house. But even after turning the place upside down, she fails to find a single trace of them, and in that moment, she realizes the clock on the wall has stopped at exactly 7:05. Just as this confusion sets in, several beams of white light flash past, causing all the furniture to instantly disappear, until only that clock remains eerily floating in midair. Megan initially thinks this is just a nightmare, but a splitting headache suddenly overwhelms her. When she wakes up again, she finds herself lying in a hospital bed, with Dr. Taylor immediately stepping up to check on her. Her parents rush over upon hearing the news.
It's a miracle.
Oh, sweetheart, you're awake.
But they are baffled because their daughter keeps spouting what sounds like nonsense.
Where's Thomas?
Who's Thomas?
Her father points out that Megan is in her 30s and still single, yet Megan insists that's impossible, and emphasizes that she has a son and a daughter named Isabel and Dylan. Megan simply cannot believe any of this, wondering why every trace of her handsome husband and well-behaved kids has been wiped out after just one nap. Seeing Megan's emotional agitation, a nurse rushes in to comfort her. Dr. Taylor subsequently explains to her parents that this is likely a sequela of the coma, where Megan has mistaken a hyper-realistic dream for reality. Fortunately, Megan hasn't suffered serious damage and is recovering steadily. So by evening, her emotions begin to settle. She learns from her mother that she was in a severe car accident 2 months ago and has been in a coma ever since, with doctors even fearing she might never wake up.
I know that everything is a lot to take in. Just don't forget how much we love you.
Hearing her mother's explanation calms Megan on the surface, but internally, she remains immersed in that family life because every detail was too real to just let go. The next day, her parents handle the discharge procedures for Megan. However, on the ride home, Megan senses an indescribable strangeness in the air. It isn't until she steps through the front door that she is horrified to find the house's layout looks exactly the same as it did 10 years ago. The first thing she does is turn on her computer, noting the password is the same as in her memory. But her frantic search for information on Thomas yields 0 results matching her husband. Soon after, her best friend Eve comes to visit, and Megan pours out the entire bizarre story to her.
So you totally think you were married?
Yeah. It felt so real.
Eve finds it hard to believe, so Megan takes her to the specific location of her memory home, only to discover upon arrival that the place is currently a construction site. With no husband and no children, the last shred of evidence supporting her reality crumbles before her eyes.
Our children, Isabel and Dylan, and they get along, and they have the most creative minds. This is not just a dream.
Seeing Megan on the verge of a breakdown, Eve hurriedly steps forward to embrace her. The facts are right before their eyes, and no one is going to believe her story about a husband and children. However, is this seemingly ironclad reality really the whole truth? To help her distinguish reality from dreams, her parents insist she see a psychologist. And although outsiders can't understand the pain of waking up to a lost family, Megan compromises to stop her parents from worrying. After 2 weeks of counseling, Megan gradually adapts to this life, appearing normal to her parents as she decides to move forward, since her memories have been defined as a dream. In her memory, she was a writer. But this time she decides to explore a new field and lands a job as a photographer's assistant. But fate decides to play a cruel joke on her again. On her very first day reporting for work, she runs right into the person from her memories.
Thomas.
It's you.
Yes, Thomas. You are...
Megan?
And that unfamiliar familiarity makes Megan's heart skip a beat. During the onboarding process, she can't take her eyes off Thomas, and she doesn't hear a single word he says about the job.
Do you know me?
Sorry, no, I don't think so.
Just as the atmosphere turns awkward, a phone ring breaks the tension, and Megan seizes the chance to turn around and secretly snap a photo of Thomas for Eve. However, she forgets to turn off the flash and shutter sound, plunging the situation back into embarrassment. She has to think fast, pretending she was just taking a picture of the items on the desk to cover her mistake. To stop Thomas from noticing anything strange, Megan quickly steers the conversation back to work, finally allowing Thomas to relax. If the resemblance in appearance was just a coincidence, the events of the next day hit Megan like a heavy hammer, knocking her into a different reality. A mother brings her 2 children in for a photo shoot, and Thomas steps forward to greet them warmly.
Oh, great. What's your name?
Jack.
Jack, and you?
Isabel.
Isabel. That is the exact name of their daughter in her memories. It was because her husband loved that name so much that they originally chose it for their daughter. Now, the man standing before her not only wears her husband's face, but also shares his exact name, habits, and hobbies. In this moment, Megan becomes incredibly certain that Thomas is the husband from her memories. Megan realizes that everything she experienced before was never a dream, but a life she truly owned. However, on that specific morning, simply taking a shower caused her to accidentally travel to a parallel universe. The timeline here is earlier, meaning she is not married and has no children in this world. Although the Thomas from her memory still exists, he no longer recognizes her. Carrying this shocking discovery, Megan rushes to tell Eve everything. But a story about traveling to a parallel world is obviously beyond the scope of normal understanding. To convince Eve, Megan even pulls out a detailed list recording all of her husband's preferences. She thinks this is the strongest proof, but Eve just looks at her with concern, believing she hasn't fully recovered from the coma. However, the doubts from the outside world can no longer shake Megan's inner resolve. She makes up her mind to use her complete understanding of him to make Thomas fall in love with her all over again in this world. But just as she plans how to approach him, the appearance of a woman named Natalie disrupts everything. Natalie claims to be Thomas's girlfriend, plunging Megan into a dilemma about whether she should ruin someone else's relationship for her own happiness. The next morning, Megan specifically brings a cup of coffee for Thomas. While he drinks the coffee, Megan naturally brings up some ideas regarding their work. She suggests they should build an online booking platform to make work more efficient.
You know, I kept actually meaning to do that, but getting this place going just kept moving off my list.
And Thomas agrees immediately, secretly wondering why her thinking always aligns so perfectly with his. In the afternoon, a problem arises on set when a little boy won't stop crying, so Thomas tries to hand him a plush bunny. Unexpectedly, the very next second,
Calm him down.
Megan brings over a box, puts the plush bunny inside, and then performs a magic trick, just like she used to do to amuse her own children. When a small plane appears out of the box, the boy instantly bursts into laughter, allowing the shoot to proceed smoothly. In that moment, the look in Thomas's eyes as he watches Megan unknowingly fills with a newfound appreciation. The next day's shoot at the farm feels more like a silent dance between two souls. Megan seems to anticipate Thomas's needs before he even speaks, providing the perfect assistance and suggestions every time. This unspoken understanding creates a secret affection in Thomas's heart, leading him to raise his camera and capture a candid moment of Megan without her noticing. That specific photo turns out to be the exact one that hung in the living room in Megan's memory. After wrapping up work, Thomas inquires about Megan again. Just as Thomas remarked, Megan is clearly talented in photography, but after marriage, the balance of her life simply tilted towards her family. To better care for her loved ones, she chose the more flexible path of a writing career, and Megan has never specifically explained any of this to anyone, because some choices simply don't need the whole world to understand them. After finishing work, they drive back to the studio together. Eve, who has been waiting for a long time, is shocked into silence when she sees Thomas standing beside Megan. When Eve brings up that dream again, Megan just smiles faintly, no longer arguing about what is real or trying to prove anything, because her state of mind has completely changed. Being able to stay by Thomas's side naturally every day as a colleague is already a great satisfaction for her. However, on this day, Natalie comes to the studio again.
Why do you call him Tommy? What do you mean? I just thought he went by Thomas.
Well, I've known him for a while, so it's a nickname between us.
Sure, yeah, but does he like it?
In fact, Thomas dislikes being called by his nickname because it was exclusive to his mother. Clearly, Thomas never mentioned this to his girlfriend, so it is reasonable that Natalie remains unaware. Not long after, Megan receives bad news. Thomas's mother has passed away from a sudden illness. This news hits her like a heavy hammer, and intense self-blame immediately wells up in her heart. Because in her world, Thomas had personally told her that his mother died of a sudden illness. According to this timeline, if she had summoned the courage to give Thomas even a vague warning, perhaps the tragedy could have been avoided.
Look, this is tragic, but it is not your fault.
Under Eve's patient counseling for nearly 2 hours, the knot in Megan's heart finally unties. A few days later, Thomas returns to the studio in a distracted state. He clearly reads the unconcealed concern in Megan's eyes and feels deeply touched. In contrast, Natalie's words are somewhat unsatisfactory.
Sorry. You know, in many cultures, death is a celebration of life. It can be a way to acknowledge good things to come.
And actually make Thomas feel a bit repulsed. Anyone can say comforting words, but not everyone can understand the pain of losing a loved one. So Thomas doesn't want to listen to his girlfriend anymore and uses work as an excuse to leave.
Get some rest, Tommy.
Could you not call me that anymore?
I thought you liked it.
It's just that my mom was the only one who would call me Tommy, and I would kind of like to keep it that way.
Of course.
It is not hard to see that the gap between them is now clearly visible. To help Thomas walk out of the gloom, Megan takes him to the aquarium after work. This place used to be the source of her writing inspiration, as she would come here to watch sharks whenever she hit a bottleneck. Then they sit on a bench, and Megan naturally starts telling a story.
I had a dear friend. He lost his mom, suddenly like you. It was before I met him, and it always bothered him how things could change overnight. But I think I finally understand that he just missed her. My heart aches for both of you.
In fact, the protagonist of that story is the Thomas from the future world, and she hopes to tell him through this that everything can be restarted. Subsequently, they chat about the pasts of their respective parents, and although Megan has heard some fragments from Thomas before, she still listens with the curiosity and tenderness of a first-time listener. Unknowingly, the distance between them quietly closes. One day, an elderly couple comes to take commemorative photos, and seeing their loving appearance brings a wave of warmth to Thomas's heart. After seeing the guests off, Megan softly asks about his father's recent condition. Thomas looks gloomy, explaining that since his mother left, his father has been depressed, refusing to go out and eating very little. Hearing this, Megan proposes visiting him at home. That night, Megan cooks a pot of rich onion soup, which is the flavor Thomas's father loves most. After dinner, Thomas's father brings out an old photo album packed with records of him and his wife, as well as precious moments of Thomas growing up. From the moment Megan walked into this home, the originally dull and oppressive atmosphere was instantly broken. Thomas sees all these changes clearly, and as he drives Megan back to the studio, he takes the opportunity to thank her for the delicious food. The relationship between them is also quietly undergoing a change. However, the very next second.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
I'm glad that he liked the soup.
thank you.
Good night.
I must have had my phone off, sorry. Just getting back from visiting my dad.
With Megan?
Yeah, she's just sharing some dinner she made.
That was nice of her.
Then, they sit down and start a long conversation. Natalie realizes that Thomas has been distancing himself from her recently.
I will be there for you better. I wanted to kick myself, calling you Tommy all this time too. Even your receptionist knew.
What?
Megan, she said you didn't like being called Tommy.
How would she know that?
He clearly didn't tell Megan certain things, so how exactly does she know? However, not long after, he finds the answer when Megan's backpack accidentally slips to the ground and a note falls out. The note is densely written with Thomas's various preferences and daily habits, recording even the tiniest details of his life clearly. Before Megan can react, Thomas has already read the contents of the note. In this moment, Megan panics and hurriedly tries to explain, telling him that in the future, a photo of her standing in front of a farm warehouse will hang in their home. But to Thomas, this explanation sounds more like a ridiculous excuse. He decides that their meeting was a play carefully planned by Megan, and that the tacit understanding that once moved him was just a deliberate act based on her prior investigation. So no matter how Megan tries to defend herself, this all sounds as unbelievable as a fairy tale.
I knew he loved French onion soup. Don't you see?
I don't know how you know any of this, but it doesn't mean anything, okay?
Megan has no choice but to leave. A discouragement she has never felt before spreads through Megan's whole body, as the life she once carefully managed now bursts like a bubble. Fate plays tricks on people like this. When you wake up and find your husband and children have disappeared, others tell you it was just a dream. And when you finally convince yourself to accept reality, the missing people appear inexplicably, stirring up the past you just put down. However, just when everything seems to be developing in a good direction, fate deals you a heavy blow again. God seems to love teasing everyone, taking away all your proof when you most need to be trusted, and giving you unspeakable weight when you long to return to ordinary life. After Megan leaves, Thomas looks like he has lost his soul all day. Even when having dinner with his girlfriend, he often zones out involuntarily. Natalie keenly perceives Thomas's strangeness and finally cannot help but ask him directly what happened.
I think I was just letting this keep going because it felt easier. And that's not how I want to treat you.
I appreciate that, I suppose. Maybe the timing's for the best.
Natalie gladly accepts Thomas's breakup because she knows clearly in her heart that they are not from the same world. Moreover, feelings cannot be forced. Since he is not the right person, letting go is a form of respect for each other. On that day, his father tells Thomas that he wants to sell his late mother's car. His father's tone is very relieved, and there is even a hint of relief in his expression, but he suddenly changes the subject.
How's the French onion soup girl?
She wasn't exactly who I thought she was. I had to let her go, unfortunately.
That's too bad.
Back at the studio, Thomas is boredly organizing old photos when his fingertips suddenly stop on one image. It is the photo he secretly took of Megan at the farm. Immediately, he remembers Megan's explanation. He clearly didn't tell Megan about this, so how did she know? Thomas can no longer sit still and hurriedly gets up to go to Megan's home, but he finds her house empty. Just then, Megan's mother returns from outside.
I'm her mother.
Oh,
So, you're him.
During this time, she has seen all of her daughter's emotional ups and downs, guessing that it might all be related to this man. Although he doesn't know Megan's original purpose for approaching him, Thomas has made up his mind to find Megan no matter what. Because in the process of unknowingly getting along with Megan, he has already fallen deeply in love with her, and this affection is deeply rooted in his heart. Thomas finally tracks Megan down at the aquarium. At that moment, Megan is once again deeply focused on her writing. Thomas steps forward and takes out the photo he took of her.
under normal circumstances. Nothing about this is normal. Until I started thinking about how much I know about you. You are good with kids. You work hard. You even find ways to fix things I didn't know were broken. You make a mean bowl of soup. How could I not want to know more?
Yeah, I'd like that.
Two people who truly love each other finally come together. A year later, they move into a new home, and the layout of the house is exactly the same as in Megan's memory. What delights them even more is that Megan is already pregnant with the crystallization of their love. Love is like a winding path, inevitably encountering many twists and bumps along the way. Yet for two soulmates who truly love each other, no matter how many detours they take, the red thread of fate will eventually pull them together. Those who are truly in love seem to transcend the boundaries of time and space, meaning that even in different parallel universes, their deep affection and bond are destined to remain unbreakable. If fate gave you a chance to go back 10 years, would you still pursue your current partner without a single doubt?